point at Trista. Just move.
Go ahead, Trista.
Thank you, Kennedy. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being here today. We appreciate you taking the time out of your schedules to lend your voice to talk about junior achievement. So at first, we're going to go around the room if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and saying who you're with and how you're involved with JA. So would you like to start over here?
My name is Junior Almavai, Chief Equity Officer. I'm involved. Flora, she did some great work in the community, especially in Mountain View, with financial literacy. That really broke some barriers there, so I'm glad to be here. Also with the other panelists here, so it's great to be with you guys.
Hello, I'm Cindy Chaput. I'm the CCL Director at Anchorage School District. That's College, Career, and Life Ready. And I am helping spearhead the transformation of ASD into the Academy model.
Good almost afternoon, I guess. My name's Kirsten Johnson. I'm the Senior Director for Teaching and Learning with the school district. Previously, I just made a job transition. I supervised all the secondary schools and worked closely with principals. So Junior Achievement and the school district have had a longstanding relationship, and probably with the Career Academies model that Cindy and I are working on will grow in the future as well.
My name is Flora Teo. I'm the president of Junior Achievement of Alaska. I've been there for 21 years, graduated from Bartlett High School and University of Alaska with a bachelor's degree in finance and economics. So excited to be here.
I'm Dave Bronson, mayor of Anchorage. Been in this job a little over 2 years.
I'm Deb Bronson, mayor's wife. Also been in this job a little over 2 years.
I'm Michelle Hodel, Constituent Relations Director for Mayor Bronson. And my kids went to Northern Lights and they participated in Junior Achievement. It's a wonderful organization. And I grew up here and I remember participating in JA when I was in public school here.
Lovely. And I'm Trista Espy, Director of Community Engagement for the municipality and the mayor's office. So we're just going to have an open conversation today about junior achievement. So I'm just going to prompt with a couple of questions, but feel free to lend your voice and your experience.
And so everyone knows that's Luke, and he's on our comms team.
Yes. Thank you very much, Luke, for live streaming this today. So the first thing that we're going to do is the mayor is going to read a proclamation. So Mr. Mayor, would you like to start with that?
I would love to.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't need that. Sorry. Okay, well, here's just a proclamation I signed today, August 3rd. So anyways, it's whereas the municipality of Anchorage recognizes the 30 years of service by the men and women of Junior Achievement of Alaska Incorporated and commend their efforts to educate and inspire the young people of Alaska to value-free enterprise, business opportunities, and economics as a way to improve the quality of their lives. Whereas Junior Achievement of Alaska was founded in 1972 as a nonprofit organization funded by donations from business and individuals, whereas a statewide board of directors leads the organization with representation of business leaders from across Alaska, and whereas to maximize the impact of junior achievement, volunteers teach all programs, whereas junior achievement programs are taught in classes from kindergarten through high school, and whereas students benefit in the elementary programs by learning the relevance of education in the workplace and by coming prepared for lifelong learning, and whereas middle school programs reinforce the value of education and teach students about the future economic benefits of staying in school, and whereas students in the high school programs learn how to make informed, intelligent decisions about their future and gain the knowledge, skills, and attitudes that will be highly useful in the business world, and whereas Junior Achievement provides role models for Alaska's youth, and the benefits are many for students and businesses alike. And whereas community involvement by individual business leaders helps to create better informed employees, citizens, voters, and future business leaders. Whereas for 3 decades, Junior Achievement of Alaska Incorporated has been a shining example of leadership in civic involvement. Now therefore, Dave Bronson, mayor of the municipality of Anchorage, do hereby recognize August 3rd, 2023 as Junior Achievement Day and congratulates Junior Achievement of Alaska on their 30th anniversary. And thank you for everything you guys do very much. So I think I sent that All right.
Lovely. And Flora, would you mind sharing a little bit about why this day is special for junior achievement before we get started talking about your program?
Absolutely. It's a huge honor. Junior Achievement nationally has been around since 1919 and was established here in 1973. And a lot of people know, about our mission and what we do, but what they don't know is that it is 100% funded by the business community. So it is really the ongoing support of business leaders who see a need for this in schools, who want to contribute to young people's success, who believe in their potential. It's their donations, their time, their support that we were able to be here today. So it's an honor, and thank you so much to the city and to Mayor Dave Bronson and his wife for all that you do for the city. We're very excited. So.
Lovely. All right, so I'm going to prompt with the first question, and then everyone feel free to join into the conversation. So let's start with, what can the business community do to support our community to help create a financially literate community? Would anyone like to start? Thank you.
I just looked right.
Sure, I'll start. So I think one of the things that is really important for us as a city to educate youth is to really get into schools. Part of the work that Cindy and I are working on is to increase what we call work-based learning in our schools, and that's junior achievement plays a big role in that. And we hope to include that in a much more exponential way moving ahead in our planning that we're going to do in the school district in the next year with some of our career academy plans that we have going. So I don't want to take over with that topic, but financial literacy is really important. Our school board, when they just set up their strategic plan a couple of years ago, that was one of the main topics that our community really wanted. And so we've been working in the district to really integrate that into our curriculum in a bigger way.
Okay, this is, I think, when you think about how important financial literacy is, every day as adults, you make financial decisions every day. And it is something that I think you can never get enough of, and I think for a long time, parents assumed kids learned it at schools and schools assumed kids learned it at home. And what we're finding now is that somehow that has been missed. Alaska continually ranks, as a state, continually ranks at the bottom. So I think what business leaders can do is to, get involved, support volunteerism, for if you have staff that want to go into schools and talk about financial management, they will learn even just by sharing their stories. And then also kids will learn because they see a positive adult in front of them telling them. And some kids, they learn that at home from their parents, but when you hear it from another voice, it just lands different. So that just supporting people, your staff's, time in schools would help. It will go a long way.
Well, I just, at my age, you learn certain things, and my parents taught me, got my first checkbook, taught me how to balance a checkbook, not to spend more than I make. But this is the reality of life: is you're going to learn financial responsibility the easy and the right way, or the wrong and really hard way. The hard way looks like bankruptcy as you get older. It looks like well, you never have money to do the things you really want because you're paying so much in interest card debt. Or sometimes debt is necessary to buy a home or a car or something like that. But debt, especially things like credit card debt, if you let that get away on you, it will eat your life up and it will spit you out. So my thing is I wish kids would learn it the way I did from school at an early age and from our parents. Learn this lesson easy, learn it quickly and early in life. And there's just fundamentals. You could probably chalk off somewhere between 5 and 10 principles that you abide by. As a pilot, I always try to keep things simple. And it's like, don't spend more than you make. Don't pay credit card debt. I use credit cards all the time. It gives us a free bookkeeping service. But if you start paying interest, then all of a sudden that thing that's your servant becomes your master. And you never catch up, and you're getting another credit card to pay off the previous credit card. And once it snowballs, it gets to a certain point, you're in big trouble. You can't fix that. So life will teach you the lessons the right way through our schools and our parents, or it will teach you the hard way. But financial literacy is like science. there's no deviation. Financial science and physical science or whatever, it's pretty absolute. So, anyways, long-winded answer. I'll turn it over to my wife, who's a CPA.
Yes, great.
So this is a great question to ask you, so since you're a CPA. So what message do you have for young children, young people, when it comes to managing their finances? What would be your advice?
Well, you don't spend more than you make. There's a whole bunch of programs out. A while ago, when our daughter and son was getting older, there's a YNAB, and I'm sure that there's way more. But it's a way to, if you want to save for something, you can actually save for a car. I know that's you don't have to get a new car. But there's a lot of ways, there's a lot of help. I love YA because this is what I used to substitute teach junior and senior hires, and they need this. They need somebody to speak words. You don't have to spend every cent in your pocket. But so do not spend and save. Everybody should start a Roth IRA account. Seriously, start a Roth IRA account and then forget you have it. But anyhow, next.
Does anyone else want to share any advice they would give to the students you guys work with or anyone in the community for great life lessons for finance?
Awesome. I used to be the principal or assistant principal of curriculum at West High School just last year. So I worked hand in hand with a lot of young people. And we have recently introduced a financial literacy part of our econ class. So that is something new ASD is doing. And one of the items that our teachers there did is a simulation with money, and lots of excitement and big picture. They want to know about what do I need to do now so I can retire when I'm 30. So it is in their thought process that they want to plan. They just don't know the steps. So my advice would be to find someone that can teach you about retirement processes before you're my age.
That's great advice, having a mentor and having someone you can look up to answer questions. Laura, would you like to add?
Sure. I mean, I'll say, sometimes we think that, kids are really smart. And we think that maybe waiting to teach them about money when they're actually using money, when they get that first job in high school. But really, you can start laying the foundation much sooner, just teaching the basic difference between needs versus wants, for example. Young kids are capable of understanding that and recognizing that, and they want to learn about money. And it's a great motivator. So I really think that's something that's important, is not just to wait and try to save it and shove it all into a one-day conversation when the kid is 18. You can really start a lot younger.
And how will you mind sharing what ages you start in JA?
Yeah, well, JA for that reason starts, we have all the way down at pre-K. So, you can teach the lessons, 30 minutes at a time. And that's absolutely something we work with the business community and the school district to do. And, we always have more requests for the program than we can fill. So we always need people, and the questions it starts young. We have a second grade lesson on taxes. And, when it comes time to pay taxes, kids, you see it. Hide money. They will say they already paid. They will pay way more than they need to. In a very simple lesson in 30 minutes, you really learn a lot. So I think kids are capable of understanding a lot more than we give them credit for.
Very, very accurate. Would anyone else like to answer that question before I move on to the next? Okay. So let's talk about, if everyone graduates from high school with strong financial literacy skills, what do we think would change about Anchorage? Thank you.
Sure. I think that one of the things that young adults, as they move from high school into their young adult life, struggle with is figuring out how to essentially adult, is how they would couch it. And so I think that if we can set them up on a path through financial literacy, amongst other skills that they need as they transition, our city would be better off. Like Mayor Bronson, you mentioned bankruptcy and things of that nature that are a real hardship. I know a lot of young people either come back from college or they drop out of college because of financial reasons, or they come back with lots of student loans, and then they're trying to navigate how do they live independently. And so if we have a better pathway with teaching them those things before they take debt on that they don't understand completely, we would have a much more robust economy, I think, and folks that live at a higher rate of living in our city, which only translates to more prosperity, I think. So I think it really does make a difference if we set them on that pathway for success. So.
Yeah, I think it's very important, and it's actually great to see that some funding is going to Flora, and also the work that she does. We actually connected with Flora, I believe it was last year, where we went to Mountain View, and she held a resume clinic. And at this resume clinic, she was actually helping kids from kindergarten all the way up to high school. And the younger we can get to the kids, the better, just because we just raise more awareness. So by the time they get to high school and they get out, it's better they're exposed to the information that Flora has through the programs that she has, and also the partnership that she has around the school district, the mayor's office. We play a role in helping them as well. So it's very important that everybody gets involved. And I think that's the most important thing, is staying engaged and getting involved. Business leaders that you mentioned earlier, they play a role in it. There's different levels to all these, and everyone plays a role in that. So I'm glad to see it, because this is definitely something that we're addressing in the community as far as a barrier to young kids with financial literacy. And it's just awesome to see that the partners are here as well to support.
I agree. I think you both touched on it. Setting them up for success is the goal. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to lend to that question? Flora, go ahead.
Okay, I'll just add a couple of things. I think I'll answer it in two ways. So if we had every kid that graduated with sound financial literacy, how would that change the community that we live in? And I think one thing that we don't often think about is, yes, people need to understand budgeting and credit scores, but they also need to understand income. And one of the key components of how much income you make is how much education you have, and also making career choices that lead to the lifestyle you ultimately want for yourself, and that, I think, sometimes gets pushed aside a little bit, and I think the more that we have those conversations with kids, about what are the projected high earning career fields in your state, and I think that also gets buy-in from young people to want to come back here and work here. And yes, then how much more money, separate from that, how much more money would we all have if everybody learned to pay their bills on time and not spend more money than they have? Because then it's hard to make long-term decisions when you have that constant immediate stress on you that financial problems can cause. And then you're making decisions, maybe not thinking about what's coming next. It's just like day to day. And it's hard to break that cycle once you get in it. So I think that it's important to strengthen the community or the economy overall. I think it's important.
Making that correlation between income and spending is very important. Do you have something you'd like to add, Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor?
and just kind of an add on to what Flora said, I would add to education, get as much training as you can get. And I'll be honest with you, choose if you're going to go to college or go into the trades or the training. Right now, say in the trades, they're making really good money. And oftentimes you can make more money. Not everyone is cut out for college. And the society we really need plumbers and carpenters and even roofers to build the things that we need, heavy equipment operators. We've seen in this last year the challenges we've faced because people don't have CDLs. I mean, we saw the crisis at the school district. We were kind of facing it too, but we jumped on board and tried to help to the degree that we could the school district, because we got to get our kids to school. But see, the trades are really important. And if you're gonna go to college, choose a degree. And this might get some people maybe a little bit mad, but at 65 years, I get to pass on a few lessons. But you need to choose a degree that makes you money. The purpose of going to college ultimately is to get a job so you can become a productive member of society and you can support a family or donate to charity and stuff like that. And if you're going to work hard in life, you might as well make as much money as you can by working hard. And too often, very often in this society now, people are graduating from college and they don't get a degree in their chosen field, and that's because, quite frankly, um, they didn't look to the future and pick a degree that's, I mean, if you want to pick teaching or nursing, you're always going to have a job. If you're a truck driver, you're probably always going to have a job, but there's some degrees where you get out and you go, okay, now what do I do? I got to get another degree. That's probably the marketplace is going to dictate where you're going to work. Period. Dot over. You can't control that. That's a law of nature. So look forward and choose from those fields that you would like to do, and try to pick the one that's going to produce as much money as you can for your family, for you exchanging your labor or your intellect, um, um, the most amount of money for the most amount of input. And I think society needs that. It's good for you. And in the end, you get to make those easier decisions. All of a sudden, you're 45 or 55 years old. If you've made good decisions, I know a lot of people very successful and get to retire at 45 or 50 years old. Why anyone would want to retire at 30, I have no idea. I tried it at 62. It lasted 5 months, and I said, this has got to change. But that's my nature. I got to get up and do something every day. Boy, it's really nice when you have an occupation that compels you to get up and go somewhere and do something productive. I was a military commercial pilot for over 40 years. I always knew what was coming quick, and I was always preparing for that. Otherwise, your mind becomes idle. And in the old phrase that my grandma used to tell me is, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. If you're not busy, if your brain's not busy, get off your phones, get off the video games. And this is a life lesson that's maybe not directly correlated. And read a book. Try to learn something. The lust for learning will carry you far further in life than just about anything else. Never stop learning every day. Read a magazine, not a comic. Read something that's productive. So anyways, that's a free life lesson you got from an old guy.
All right, so we've talked a lot about what Junior Achievements brings to children outside of their family. So I'd love to know your guys' opinions on what parents can do to partner with JA and how they can teach children basic financial management in conjunction with Junior Achievement.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're here. We want to be a solution provider. If the community wants kids to learn this, districts don't have unlimited resources, unlimited funding. And so, that's where Junior Achievement comes in. The business community helps support this. So I think as parents, number one, I think asking, is our school signed up for JA? It doesn't cost any money. And as a parent, I think, all the money that I pay for gymnastics and ice skating and, swim lessons is wonderful. I'm happy to do that. But if this is something that they can learn for free and have a banker in their classroom or somebody who's an entrepreneur teach them these lessons, that might spark something else in my kid that I wouldn't be able to give them otherwise. So I think asking if they have Junior Achievement, and then obviously we also don't have unlimited resources. So volunteering, take an active role. You get in the classroom, you get to meet their peers, their teachers, and learn how exhausting it can be to be an educator, if only for a couple of hours. So I think that parents play an ultimate role. Resources are here, but they're not going to be as effective as it would be if you're invested in your kids' education when it comes to financial management.
Oh, sure. As a parent, I think it's great to have a partnership with JA because oftentimes your kids don't listen to you. So I think if they're in a classroom setting, it's invaluable if they're hearing it from somebody else. But it's just good to have that conversation. I know I've been teaching my kids this summer just when it's sunny out, they want to have a lemonade stand. And they go and they buy all of the lemonade cookies from like Walgreens. And then they share the proceeds with their little neighbor friends, and they wonder, why they didn't make more money. And I'm like, well, we could have gone to Costco and gotten those things. So they learn those lessons that way. And so I think JA is really important. And I know when I went through high school, we used to have personal finance class, and that was a required class that we had to take. So I think it's just really important to educate kids, because a lot of times they're not. And like the mayor said, I think, even though I had those, you learn the hard way when you get to college. And you're like, cool, I get a credit card, but you don't realize how much you're actually paying for that item when you're not paying it off every month. So.
Anyone else like to lend their voice to this question? So again, the question was, what can parents do to teach their children basic financial management? So as a parent, if you're a parent, we would love to hear your voice.
So I'm a parent of a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old. And so budgeting is one of the things that we have explicit conversations about at home. I think a lot of parents don't always have those conversations at home, and I think they're really important. And then I think teaching budgeting skills like allowances and how to earn your allowance is really important. So they start equivalating, like you have to work for your money also is a really important life lesson. It doesn't just come for free and show up in your wallet. So even with my 10-year-old, like when we go to the store, if she wants something, I think Flora, you touched on it. Like if she wants something, I'll say, is that something you want or you need? And just being able to have like those ongoing, just like life lessons every day is really important. Not that my kids don't spend money on things they don't need or are silly, but I think that having that guided kind of conversation all the way through their childhood is really important. It can't just be like a one and done conversation either. So
that's great.
I have 4 kids. So as we all know, some kids are better at this than others. Some might need a little bit more practice. So set up a bank account that they're in charge of, and a debit card, I guess, more than a checkbook, and a debit card. And those life lessons come very quickly. Also, we really enjoyed giving them for a birthday a small amount of money that they could invest and lose and reinvest. So that is a lifelong lesson as well.
Lovely. And so we are about close on time. So does anyone have any final thoughts they would like to add either about junior achievement, about financial literacy, or being involved in this program?
Well, I have the mic, so I could start. So I just wanted to share with everyone that because of our school board goal to include financial literacy in our strategic plan in the district, that we have designed our economics class, which every high school senior has to take prior to graduation. It's a graduation requirement. You mentioned personal finance, and I took personal finance growing up here also in high school. Essentially, we're embedding personal finance into our economics courses for every student this year in the school district. We piloted that work in a couple of classrooms last year to make sure that we really liked what we were doing and it was working well with students. And so I just wanted everyone to know that that's something that's important to the district. I think it's going to become a more important part of our work moving forward. Junior Achievement's always been a great partner for us in that work. And I'm just really looking forward to more horizons and things happening, around this topic. So I just wanted to share that.
It's also important to highlight the leadership that Junior Achievement is having. So it's been a pleasure with the city to be able to work, especially my department with Flora. The work that she does around is invaluable, and it's a need in the city, and she addresses those needs with the programs, and then also great to see the community come together to address those needs. So it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to the success.
And on that note, as everyone is aware, that Junior Achievement was a 2023 Mayor's Community Grant awardee. So we would love to present you with a check. And here at the city, we are really excited to partner with you. And Mayor Bronson, would you like to give that to Flora?
we wish it could be more, but there's limited funds and lots of things. But what you're doing is absolutely essential to a thriving economy and actual society. Because if you fail on the financial side, again, it comes back to I call it financial physics. You don't deny the laws of physics. You don't deny the laws of finance. And again, you're going to learn these lessons one way or another. And you, through junior achievement, you do this. And I hope the kids will participate more. And I really want to communicate to the parents out there, get your kids enrolled. This is a good thing. And quite frankly, I'm looking at the data you provided me. We're not doing well on this, and we need to do much better. And that vehicle or that organization that leads on this is this organization. You don't want to learn these lessons in your late 20s. You want to learn them far earlier than that. Life will be better, and everything you want to be comes from financial, will be controlled or influenced by your financial literacy, one way or another. You're not going to win the lottery. Trust me. And if you have no financial literacy and you do win the lottery, your life almost guaranteed will be worse. And so learn these lessons soon. So again, thank you very much for what you do. Appreciate you guys.
All right. And thank you. We just want to end with saying thank you very much for everyone taking the time out of their day and lending their voice to this conversation. And again, our office here in the mayor's office, we look forward to partnering with all of you. Thank you very much.